This is a Hashtag Studios production. Well, would you take a look? We are on to the quiz video for Chapter 14 of the ITGS textbook, Politics and Government, a topic that, me and this topic go pretty far back, actually, considering it was the topic of my first year of ITGS and my first project. Anyways, this is no time for reminiscence. Here we go. Gonna function same as the other quiz videos. Questions first, answers later. Alright, so obviously a topic that would come up with politics and the internet. The first question: how might filtering of the internet, either covertly or overtly, affect our understanding of the information and the world around us? How could we know if our internet access was filtered? Alright, here we go. Question number 2. What makes cyber terrorism a tempting option for terrorists? Identify some systems which might be vulnerable, and outline the consequences of cyber terrorism attacks on them. A little hidden for this one is you really need to think big, okay? There are a lot of very important systems on a scale of, cyber warfare and stuff like that that could really be affected by this, so try to come up with some examples for that. And the third question, always at least one is in IB format, so here we go. Question 3, Part A. Define the term cyber warfare. And describe 2 technical methods which can be used to filter internet access. Part B. Explain the steps involved in the process of filtering internet access. Part C. Internet filtering is performed by governments is usually very effective in blocking content for all citizens. To what extent is this preferable to allowing individual families and businesses to alter their own content? Next up are the answers, so make sure you've got all your answers written down so you can check them off. Okay, answer to number 1. So we're looking at internet censorship and wondering how might it skew our understanding of information, and how could we know that our internet access is being filtered. The true downside of internet censorship is that so many people look to the internet for information that censoring particular sites would skew our understanding of the world. So many people, you go on Google, most people go on Google at least once a day to search up something they don't know. And that's an incredible amount of information that's drawn from the internet. And so in even just the slightest way, if it were to be censored, that's information we might not be seeing and that we may need to know in order to have a full understanding of something. And so censoring could really skew our understanding of it. And then the other thing is that if negative items are censored, we won't know what kind of bad things there are out there. Not that it's good to have negative things on the internet, but to be awareness, even just the simple virtue of awareness, censorship can really either defeat the purpose or defeat completely. All right, so now we're on to the answer to question number 2, cyber terrorism. There is a lot of information on the internet, okay? Not even on the internet. There's a lot of information stored in computers, stored in networks, from private business networks right up to sensitive government and military data. Everything, any system, anything that requires information to be sent through a computer is vulnerable to cyber terrorism. Anything. As long as there are people out there like hackers who know how to get inside of a network and access information, almost everything we have and everything we do on computers is vulnerable. The possibilities for cyber terror, they're endless. They really are endless. And so normally with terrorism, we're talking about, military, targeting military data, targeting government data, but it doesn't mean you have to stop there. Any system that any collection of systems that works by sending information through a computer, it's vulnerable, and it probably at some point will become a target of cyber terrorism. Okay, and then the answers to the multi-part question number 3. Cute little graphic at the top there. Anyways, Part A wanted a definition of cyber warfare. Cyber warfare, as defined in the book, is the use of attacks on a computer network of an enemy in order to damage infrastructure or spy on enemy systems. Then it wanted, then question A, Part 2 wanted 2 ways to filter internet access. Content rating systems or search engine filtering. Those are the 2 that were talked about most in the book. Content rating ranks contents of websites and then filters specific ones based on however high rating they are. Or search engine filtering can force search engines like Google or Yahoo to censor website results from appearing altogether. And then the answers to B can be something along the lines of categorizing website content, marking web pages that respond to search engine filtering parameters, or just like those 2 mentioned above, content rating systems or search engine filtering all fall into those methods. And then the answer to Part C. This is a really interesting question because you would think it would be better if individuals could decide if they could censor their own content. You'd think it would be easier because, some people have differing views over what should and what should not be censored. You'd think this would be an all-solved problem, but it really wouldn't, because it would become incredibly hard for, regulations and for search engines to manage so many different censorship schemes. And then it'd be incredibly easy for people to get around censorship rules that have been set for them because they could simply use someone else's machine. And if there's different rules for different networks and a machine's running on a different network, then you have privileges that you might not have on your own network, or that you might not have that you're normally accustomed to. This is a Cashtag Studios production.